market moved down from here, right? Then came up. So when the market got to this point, it came down again, right? So you can see then it came down again. But there are things I want you to observe in this move. Okay, so this was a bigger move from here down. Okay, so the market moved down like this, right? So I want you to pay attention to this. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this place. So this was the previous high, right? And then the market moved to that point. So when the market moved down, let's draw this thing here like this. So that was our previous high. Okay, so if you would take it backward, you can see there is a high here. Then it formed this particular low, and it tried to form this high, but this was not valid because it couldn't take out this place. So we went down, and you can see the market got down to this point. So this is the low. This is daily time frame, remember. Then we come up again, and we are trying to look for the high, and this is the high. But this technique of entering the market is not available to everyone, right? Like you need lots of practice. So what do? This is what you do when you open your chart and you come to the daily time frame. You want to know what the market is doing, like what's the direction and all that. Okay, so from here we can see that the market is trying to come down after this after this particular structure here. You can see it. So the market came down, right? So the next thing I want you to do is every time you draw a successful uh, uh, line like this, I want you to duplicate the line, right? Then drag it to form another structure at the bottom. Make sure the point that formed this high, I don't know if you are understanding. So let's say this is the market came down like this, right? So this was one high here, and this is another high. So it came up and formed this high. So this point and this point that your trend line touched, right? You draw them, and you want to make sure that the next trend line, which is this next one here, this one, is below the point where these lines met, right? You can use the wicks or use the candle body. Most of the time I prefer to use the body of the candle. So anyone you want to use is better for you. So now you want to make sure that you drag it to meet the low of this point. So what you have established now is when the market moves, this is how you are going to be taking this trade. If the market moves to this line, you look for sell, right? If the market moves to this line, you look for buy. So you are going to do this until the market breaks out of this structure, this particular line. So this is daily time frame, so it might take you long to see an entry. So let's go to a lower time frame. Let's delete this, right? So let's go to a lower time frame. Let's say 1 hour, right? So let's check the hourly time frame. So in 1 hour, we are looking for structure, right? Let's pinch it out. We are looking for structures. So what I can see here is this. You can see there is one like this that was formed. Okay, so you can see that the point that formed this high is this one, right? And the one that formed this one is this one, which might not be valid. And the one that formed this one above is this one, the low, I mean, that formed it, right? So what you want to do is you want to duplicate this line and drag it down to fit the point that formed all this line. So now when you drag it like this, what you are looking for, right, is a buy or a sell. So This is the low that formed this other side. And then actually, if you look well, you see that the low that formed this high is here. So if you want to draw it from there, you might want to draw it from there, right? Yes, this is better. So you can see, if you practice this very well, guys, you will make good money, right? You make good money. You don't need to be learning market structure and all that. This one, just practice it. Look for any three peak or two that's formed. Draw your line on it, duplicate it, and make sure you drag it to perfectly fit into any of the below the lows that form those highs. Now, if your line does not fit perfectly in the lows that form that high, avoid it. Okay. For this one, you can see this low here formed this high, and you can see that the trend line, this trend line here, fit perfectly along it. And if you notice the top too, there's a perfect fit. Then if you can see that this low here formed this high, right? This is a minor one, so we can ignore it. So this one formed this one, and you can see they have formed a triangle with your two trend line. You are looking at something like a channel rather. So now what are you looking for? You are looking for opportunity to buy and sell. So when the market comes to this trend line, you sell. You sell, right? Put your stop loss above it. You are not trying to make structure or something. Once the market comes to this trend line, you sell. You put your stop loss above it here. Then when the market comes down, you buy and you put your stop loss below it like this. So you continue to do that. Now, when the market breaks out of this channel that you have formed, this particular channel, like what happened here, right? When the market breaks out of it, then what do? You sell. As soon as the market breaks out of it, you want to make sure that the break is not weak out. What I mean is this. So you can see that this break is a full candle, right? A full candle broke out. If the candle came out and closed inside, you will take a buy. You will not be selling that trade. What I mean is, if assuming, let me give example. Let's say the market closed like this. You can see that it came out of the trend line, then was rejected inside again. If you see situation like that, don't bother thinking of saying you want to that the market has broken. And no, all you need to do is just buy because there's a rejection. But this time around, the candle body closed aside, so you just put your sell. Don't just put your sell here, right? And put your stop loss inside the line and target 1 to 2. Don't be greedy, just 1 to 2, and you can see what happened here. A massive sell to the downside, and you would have left this trade somewhere here before I ran here, because 1 to 2 here to this is 1 to 2, right? This is 1 to 2, so you would have left before even this move. Okay, so that is how you can use this particular strategy. It's simple. If you can practice it, you will be very happy that you know something like this. Okay, so give it a try. Let's look for another example, right? Let's go back. Look for 3 consecutive move, or 2 rather. You can use 2. I'm seeing a trend here. So let's see this one. We have a trend here like this, right? So you can see. Now you can see something that this one did not fit perfectly. There is a push out in this particular, at this point. There is a push out at this point, right? So this one you might as well ignore it, but you can also use it. If you want to use it, you drag this to this point. This is the low that came up with this particular one, and then you will fit it in. Now when you do this, you discover that it no longer gives you a channel, right? Instead it's widening, giving you something like wedge, widening wedge, right? So you might as well want to avoid this, because remember I said the top should fit perfectly and the bottom should also fit almost perfectly. If that happens, then, and it should give you something like channel, not wedge or any other thing. When that these conditions are met, just follow the trade. You'll be amazed at how it will give you massive profit. So do let me know what you think, practice it, and give me your questions down below in the if you have any question, you can drop in the comment section. And if you have any suggestion or something to add to this video, or you have a particular thing you want us to discuss about, feel free to drop it at the comment section. We will attend to them one by one. All right, thank you. See you in our next video. Stay profitable.